She always hoped I would notice. This sentence carries an unimaginable weight, a weight that accumulates over time, like a suffocating secret whispered in hushed tones. A love that transforms into an endless wait, where each passing day brings along the doubt of whether the other person will truly see the signs that are so blatantly clear to anyone who is really paying attention. Time drags on, and the relationship becomes a repetitive cycle of unfulfilled promises. She finds comfort in small gestures, hoping that one day I will finally understand the depth of her feelings. However, with each moment that passes, uncertainty begins to erode this connection. What should be a space of love turns into a prison of unmet expectations. Instead of warm embraces, there are awkward silences. This scenario becomes a dance of unspoken words and swallowed emotions. In the moments when she opens up, I listen to her, but I don't really hear her. With each outburst, she reveals how she feels invisible, as if her needs are being ignored. Love, which should be a safe harbor, turns into a storm of confusion and frustration. The letters she never sent, the I love yous that were never spoken, echo in the walls of our relationship. The waiting becomes an unbearable weight, and each day that passes forms a new layer of ice between us. The climax of this story is not a grand confrontation, but rather a silent revelation. As the hours pile up, I realize that the waiting was never just hers. I was waiting too, waiting for a sign, a change, something that would awaken me to the urgency of taking action. The irony is that, while she longed for attention, I was also lost in my own silence, waiting for the right moment to express myself. In the end, the truth is that love cannot be an eternal wait. It needs to be cultivated, nurtured, and above all, expressed. When I finally recognized this, a new horizon opened up. We can't expect the other person to guess our feelings. Dialogue is the bridge that connects hearts, and vulnerability is the key to unlocking the doors that keep our fears in view. However, the reflection remains. How many relationships are lost in the waiting? How many stories become mere echoes of unfulfilled hopes? What could have been if communication had flourished instead of silence? Love should not be an act of waiting, but rather a dance for two. And in the end, this dance should be cherished while we have the chance, before time teaches us that waiting can actually be a farewell. The reality is that a lack of communication creates a chasm between two people who love each other. Silence, which should be a space of comfort, becomes a battlefield between expectations and frustrations. Often, what we expect from the other is the ability to guess feelings and needs, something that is, in practice, impossible. This expectation expresses not just a desire for connection, but also a deep fear of opening up and exposing oneself. The truth is that vulnerability is frightening. Talking about feelings may seem like an act of courage, but it also carries the risk of rejection and misunderstandings. The fear of not being understood can be paralyzing, and it reflects in the way we relate to those we love. Instead of fostering a dialogue, we often prefer to keep our insecurities to ourselves, creating a vicious cycle of silence that only serves to push people further away. When she finally opens up about her insecurities, it's a moment of pure vulnerability. She talks about how she feels invisible, as if her needs are irrelevant. Hearing these words is a call to action. It's an invitation for me to look beyond the surface and see the pain hidden behind a smile. However, even in light of this revelation, the initial response may be confusion. What to do with this information? How to act in a way that not only alleviates her pain, but also brings back the lost connection? A crucial part of this process is recognizing that communication is not just about words, but also about actions. It's important to translate feelings into concrete gestures. Small things like asking how her day was or showing genuine interest in her concerns can make all the difference. These gestures are the foundation of a healthy relationship where both feel valued and heard. Over time, I've learned that love requires effort. It's not just about waiting for the other person to make the first move, but being willing to take the first step. The courage to express oneself and the willingness to listen are fundamental. When both partners commit to communicating, the relationship begins to transform. Conversations that were once tense and full of misunderstandings become more open and honest. A significant point is that communication shouldn't feel like an obligation, but rather a daily practice. It's important to create an environment where both feel safe to share their emotions without fear of backlash or judgment. This doesn't mean there won't be disagreements, but rather that there will be a willingness to resolve differences constructively. The commitment to communication is a sign that both are investing in the relationship. As the dynamics of the relationship change, the opportunity to redefine expectations also arises. What once felt like a burden can turn into a space for mutual growth. Both parties begin to realize that the relationship is not a game of give and take, but a collaboration where each brings something unique to the table. This new perspective helps relieve the pressure that often accompanies love. Transformation does not happen overnight. It is an ongoing process that requires patience and empathy. It is important to understand that even after the toughest conversations, insecurities may resurface. The key is not to allow these insecurities to create another wave of silence. Instead, it is essential to reiterate the commitment to be present for one another, even in moments of doubt. An important aspect to consider is that each person brings a history of experiences that have shaped the way they love. What may seem like an exaggerated response to a situation for one person could actually be a reaction to past traumas. Recognizing this helps cultivate empathy and understanding. When we know that the other person might be dealing with their own internal battles, it becomes easier to approach situations with sensitivity. It is equally essential for both partners to feel comfortable expressing their needs. Love should not be a constant sacrifice but a mutual exchange where both feel satisfied. It is healthy to assert what you need, as long as it is done in a respectful and open manner. When needs are clearly articulated, the room for misunderstandings decreases dramatically. Additionally, practicing gratitude can be a powerful tool. Recognizing and appreciating the small things that the other person does can add a new level of appreciation to the relationship. The simple act of saying thank you can strengthen the connection and both partners' commitment to keeping the relationship strong. Ultimately, what could have been a love lost in waiting can become a journey of mutual discovery. Communication, vulnerability, and both parties' commitment to working on the relationship create a space where love can thrive. Ultimately, this transformation not only strengthens ties, but also teaches that love should not be a silent battleground, but rather a space for growth and shared joy. True love is manifested in actions, dialogues, and the willingness to face challenges together, always seeking the light, even in the darkest hours. Mutual understanding is the key to transforming a relationship that was once marked by silence and misunderstandings. It's essential to look at each other with empathy, recognizing that each person carries a set of experiences that influence their reactions and feelings. This recognition not only humanizes the other, but also creates an environment where dialogue becomes easier and more natural. When you allow yourself to see not just what the other person expresses, but also what lies behind their words, conversations gain a new meaning. Becoming an active listener is a skill that requires practice. Often when someone speaks, we are more concerned about our response than truly listening to what is being said. This disconnection can amplify feelings of loneliness within a relationship. It's vital to take the time to genuinely hear what the other person has to say, without interruptions, and to ask questions that show genuine interest. When you do this, you create an environment where the other person feels valued and respected. An important step in this process is self-reflection. Before entering a difficult conversation, it's helpful to think about your own emotions and what you would like to express. This internal work allows you to approach the conversation with greater clarity and intent. When communicating your own needs, it's essential to do so in a way that doesn't come across as an accusation, but rather as an expression of how you feel. Phrases that start with "I feel like" instead of "you do" can change the dynamic of the conversation, making it more productive. Additionally, it's important to recognize that there is no one-size-fits-all solution to every problem. Each relationship is unique, and therefore the approaches should also be adapted. What works for one couple may not work for another. This personalization is crucial for the growth of the relationship. It's about discovering what each person needs and how both can collaborate to meet those needs. The practice of honesty is another key piece of this puzzle. Being honest doesn't mean being cruel. Instead, it's about sharing your feelings in a way that the other person can understand your perspective. This involves vulnerability, but it's that very vulnerability that strengthens the bonds. When you open up about what you truly feel, you invite the other person to do the same, creating a cycle of trust and respect. Daily little rituals also play a significant role. Simple gestures, like sending a loving message during the day or setting aside time to talk without distractions, can help keep the connection alive. These moments of attention and affection are essential for reminding each other of the importance each person holds in the other's life. Routine can often be a thief of intimacy, but small actions can reverse that tendency. As the relationship evolves, it's natural for new challenges to arise. What was once comfortable may become wearisome, and that's not necessarily a sign that something is wrong. Changes in life circumstances, such as work, health, or other responsibilities, can influence how each person feels and behaves. It's crucial to be open to changes and willing to adjust the dynamics of the relationship as needed. Conflict resolution is a skill that all couples should develop. Conflicts aren't necessarily negative. They can be an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. When disagreements arise, it's important to address them with the intent to resolve, not to win. This means avoiding accusations and seeking solutions that benefit both parties, creating a space where differences can be discussed healthily. On the other hand, it's essential to know when to seek external help. A therapist or counselor can offer a neutral perspective and help navigate deeper issues that may be impacting the relationship. There's no shame in seeking support. In fact, it's a sign of strength and commitment to the relationship. Ultimately, love requires ongoing work. It's not about finding the right person, but about being the right person. This involves personal growth, a willingness to learn, and the courage to face challenges together. True love isn't free of difficulties, but it's through overcoming these challenges that the relationship strengthens. Additionally, the practice of gratitude should not be underestimated. Thanking each other for small acts, for being present for one another, and for their contributions to the relationship can reinforce bonds and create a positive atmosphere. This not only enhances how each person perceives the other, but also cultivates a sense of appreciation that can be transformative. Finally, what stands out in a healthy relationship is the ability of both partners to commit to supporting each other. This partnership is reflected in concrete actions that demonstrate love and respect. True love is one that evolves, learns from mistakes, and is committed to growing even in the face of adversity. By cultivating open and honest communication, you not only strengthen the relationship, but also create a space where both individuals can thrive, making the shared journey even more meaningful. Building a healthy relationship requires a mutual commitment. When both partners dedicate themselves to understanding each other's needs and feelings, the connection deepens. It's essential that this willingness is accompanied by an active effort to create a safe space for communication. Often, difficulties arise not because people don't love each other, but because they struggle to express that love effectively. A key aspect of this process is time. Setting aside specific moments for meaningful conversations can make a significant difference. Daily life, with its demands and distractions, often prevents couples from connecting on a deeper level. Creating a routine that includes regular conversations, where each person can share their thoughts and feelings, is an important step. These conversations don't need to be long, but they should be sincere and focused. Additionally, empathy plays a crucial role in communication. When you put yourself in someone else's shoes, it's easier to understand their reactions and feelings. This practice not only improves understanding, but also helps build a supportive environment. When one partner feels heard and understood, they are more likely to open up and share their insecurities. It's important to remember that communication is not limited to verbal exchanges. Often actions speak louder than words. Gestures of affection, like a gentle touch on the back or an understanding glance, can powerfully convey love and support. These small displays of affection help create an environment where both partners feel valued. Another point to consider is the need to be present. The modern world can be full of distractions, and many couples find themselves in situations where they are physically together but mentally absent. Unplugging from electronic devices during conversation time can be an effective way to show that you value each other's presence. This demonstrates respect for the time you are spending together and the importance of focusing on one another. Vulnerability should also be approached seriously. Opening up about your feelings, fears, and insecurities is a brave act, and it is crucial for both partners to be willing to do this. When one partner shows vulnerability, the other should respond with understanding and support, not judgment. This exchange of vulnerabilities can strengthen the bond and create a deeper connection between the two. Understanding that it is normal to have disagreements is part of the growth of a relationship. No couple agrees on everything, and that's healthy. What matters is how these disagreements are managed. Approaching conflicts with the intent to resolve, rather than to win, transforms the dynamic. This involves listening attentively, acknowledging each other's feelings, and working together to find solutions. The practice of gratitude, as mentioned earlier, should be a constant. Thanking each other for the little things in daily life may seem simple, but it has a significant impact. It helps reinforce emotional connection and reminds each other of the value that each brings to the relationship. Over time, this practice builds a solid foundation of appreciation, which can be a powerful antidote to resentment. The pursuit of individual growth should also not be neglected. Each partner should have the freedom to explore their interests and passions outside of the relationship. This not only enriches each individual's life, but also brings new perspectives to the relationship. When each person grows as an individual, the relationship tends to thrive. Encouraging your partner's personal growth shows support and unconditional love. Honesty is a fundamental pillar in any relationship. Being open about your expectations and boundaries is essential to avoid misunderstandings. If something makes you uncomfortable, expressing that respectfully is crucial. Honesty also means being true to yourself and your partner about what you need and expect from the relationship. The ability to forgive is another vital aspect. We all make mistakes, and that's inevitable in a relationship. Learning to forgive and let go of the past can create a space where both partners feel safe to express themselves. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing not to let past mistakes define the relationship. This practice allows both partners to focus on the present and future instead of being stuck in old grievances. Additionally, flexibility is a valuable quality in a relationship. Life circumstances change, and it's important for both partners to be willing to adapt. This may mean adjusting your expectations or finding new ways to connect. The willingness to change and grow together is a sign of a healthy relationship. Seeking external help, like couples therapy, can be an effective way to address deeper issues that may be affecting the relationship. A professional can provide a new perspective and help facilitate communication. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a demonstration of commitment to the relationship. Ultimately, love requires ongoing effort. It's not about finding the perfect person, but rather about becoming the right person for each other. True love is built on a foundation of understanding, communication, and mutual commitment. As both partners invest in this process, the relationship becomes a space for growth, joy, and support, where each can flourish and thrive together. In the end, the journey is just as important as the destination, and it's in this journey that love reveals itself in its purest and most meaningful form. Communication, as mentioned before, is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, small frustrations accumulate, creating an environment of discontent. Many people enter relationships expecting their partner to understand their feelings and needs without having to express them. However, this expectation can be a trap that leads to disillusionment and emotional distance. It is essential for each partner to take responsibility for communicating openly about what they feel and need. Creating a space for dialogue should not be seen as a difficult task, but as an opportunity to strengthen the bond. This involves choosing appropriate moments to talk, away from distractions and the stresses of everyday life. When the environment is conducive, conversations flow more naturally and productively. Additionally, it's crucial for both partners to be willing to listen, not just to talk. Active listening is a skill that can be developed and that transforms the quality of interactions. A practical approach is to set a regular time for these conversations. This could be during dinner, a walk, or even a quiet moment at home. The important thing is that both parties understand that this is a safe space where they can share their emotions without fear of retaliation. This commitment to meet regularly to discuss feelings and concerns is a step that can make a significant difference in the dynamics of the relationship. Furthermore, how each person expresses their emotions is equally important. Using the first person when talking about feelings, such as "I feel" and "I need," makes communication less accusatory and more personal. This helps to avoid immediate defensiveness and paves the way for a more constructive dialogue. When both partners feel safe to share their experiences, the emotional connection deepens. This communication practice is not only beneficial for resolving conflicts, but also for strengthening emotional bonds. Another aspect to consider is the importance of quality time together. It's easy to get lost in routine and daily responsibilities, but making time to be together without distractions is vital. This time can be spent doing activities that both enjoy, whether it's cooking together, playing sports, or simply relaxing at home watching a movie. These interactions help create positive memories and keep the spark of the relationship alive. Recognizing and appreciating each other's small gestures is also crucial. Often it's the little details that make the difference. A cup of coffee made in the morning, a sweet message during the day, or a sincere compliment can mean a lot and show that both care. These small acts of kindness and consideration strengthen the emotional connection and create a more loving and welcoming environment. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship. What matters is how each person deals with them. Approaching disagreements with empathy and a focus on solutions is a sign of emotional maturity. This involves recognizing the other person's emotions and validating their feelings, even if you don't agree with their perspectives. This validation can diffuse tense situations and create space for a deeper understanding. It's also essential for each person to acknowledge their own emotions and reactions. Sometimes, what seems like a minor argument may reflect deeper issues that haven't been addressed. Self-awareness is a powerful tool that helps identify behavior patterns that may be negatively impacting the relationship. Reflecting on your own reactions and being willing to change is an important step toward mutual growth. Forgiveness is another crucial component in relationships. We all make mistakes, and learning to forgive is essential for moving forward. Holding on to grudges can erode the relationship and create an atmosphere of tension. The process of forgiving doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but rather releasing the emotional burden associated with those events. This allows the relationship to focus on the present and future instead of being haunted by past hurts. The practice of gratitude, as mentioned earlier, should be a constant in the couple's dynamic. Thanking each other for the little things in daily life might seem simple, but it is a powerful positive reinforcement. This practice not only improves how each person perceives the other, but also cultivates a sense of appreciation that can be transformative. When both partners feel valued, the emotional connection strengthens and the willingness to overcome challenges increases. Additionally, flexibility is a valuable quality in a relationship. Life circumstances change, and it's important for both partners to be willing to adapt. This may mean adjusting your expectations or finding new ways to connect. The willingness to change and grow together is a sign of a healthy relationship. Seeking external help, such as couples therapy, can be an effective way to address deeper issues that may be impacting the relationship. A professional can offer a new perspective and help facilitate communication. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it demonstrates commitment to the relationship. Ultimately, love requires ongoing effort. It's not about finding the perfect person, but about becoming the right person for each other. True love is built on a foundation of understanding, communication, and mutual commitment. As both partners invest in this process, the relationship becomes a space for growth, joy, and support, where each can flourish and thrive together. Thus, the journey of love is not only about the happy moments, but also about the ability to face challenges together, learning and growing from each experience. When both partners commit to working on the relationship, the result is a stronger and more fulfilling bond that can stand the test of time. What often lacks in relationships is the willingness to confront the reality of one's own emotions and those of the partner. It's common for people to avoid difficult discussions, fearing that it may lead to conflicts or cause pain. However, this avoidance often results in superficial communication, where what truly matters is hidden under the rug. For a relationship to thrive, both partners must be willing to face the truth, even if it is uncomfortable. Honesty is therefore an essential element. When you share your feelings clearly and directly, you create an environment where the other person feels safe to do the same. This exchange of honesty not only strengthens the bond between partners, but also provides a space for both to better understand each other. The act of being honest with yourself and with the other person is central to building a healthy relationship. Recognizing that there is no right or wrong in emotions is an important step. Each person's emotional reactions are valid and deserve to be heard. This means that when discussing disagreements, it is crucial to avoid the tendency to dismiss the other person's feelings. Respecting others' emotions, even when you don't fully understand them, is essential for conflict resolution. This helps create a safe space where both can express themselves without fear of judgment. Additionally, practicing active listening is vital. Active listening involves not just hearing the other person's words, but also paying attention to body language and underlying emotions. When you dedicate yourself to understanding what your partner is truly saying, it becomes easier to find solutions that meet both of your needs. Active listening also helps prevent misunderstandings, which are often the root of many conflicts. It is important to remember that love is not just a series of feelings, but also a set of actions. Small everyday kindnesses, like preparing a favorite meal or simply asking how the other's day went, are fundamental. These actions show that you care and are committed to your partner's well-being. Such gestures, even if they seem simple, have a significant impact on how each person perceives the other. When daily life gets hectic, it's easy to forget to dedicate time to each other. Therefore, setting aside regular moments to reconnect is crucial. This can include date nights, outdoor activities, or even spending time relaxing together at home. What's important is that both partners feel valued and have the opportunity to share their experiences. These moments form the foundation where love can flourish. Additionally, it's essential to address the changes that naturally occur over time. As people evolve, their interests and needs also change. Being attentive to these changes and willing to adjust the dynamics of the relationship is crucial. This may require conversations about expectations and desires, but it's a necessary step to ensure both remain aligned. Flexibility is a quality that should be cultivated. When one partner faces difficulties, the other should be a pillar of support. This doesn't mean you have to solve all of your partner's problems, but rather be present and willing to listen. The act of offering support and understanding, even in tough times, is a sign of love and commitment. Another point to consider is the importance of forgiveness. We all make mistakes, and in a relationship, it's essential to learn to forgive and move on. Forgiveness is not only a way to release resentments, but also a means to strengthen bonds. By forgiving, you not only allow the other person to continue to grow, but also free yourself from the burden of past hurts. The practice of gratitude should not be overlooked either. Thanking each other for the little things like a thoughtful gesture or an act of consideration can reinforce the emotional connection. This helps create a positive environment where both feel valued and appreciated. Gratitude is a powerful tool that can transform the dynamics of a relationship. Additionally, the willingness to seek outside help can be a sign of maturity. When challenges become difficult to overcome, reaching out to a therapist can provide new perspectives. A professional can facilitate communication and help identify patterns that might go unnoticed. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it demonstrates that both partners are committed to improving the relationship. Relationships are a constant dance of growth and adaptation. Each person brings their own experiences and expectations, and it is through open communication that these differences can be aligned. Love is not a static experience. It evolves and transforms over time. Being willing to adapt and learn from one another is what makes a relationship truly meaningful. Ultimately, what really matters is the mutual commitment. When both partners dedicate themselves to cultivating the relationship, the fruits of that effort become evident. Love becomes a source of support, strength, and growth. This is the true goal: to build a connection that not only withstands the test of time, but also becomes a safe space for both individuals to grow as partners and as individuals. Love, when nurtured with attention, communication, and understanding, transforms into a rich and rewarding partnership. It is a journey that can be challenging, but is well worth taking. In the end, every step taken together on this journey is an opportunity for learning and discovery, strengthening the bonds that unite two people in love. The foundation of a healthy relationship is the ability of both individuals to commit to understanding and respecting each other's differences. Each person brings a unique emotional background, and this history influences how they relate to one another. It is vital to recognize that past experiences shape current expectations and reactions, which can create challenges that require patience and empathy. When misunderstandings arise, The first step is to approach the situation with a collaborative mindset. Instead of viewing the other person as an adversary, it's important to see them as a partner facing a problem alongside you. This shift in perspective can facilitate communication and create space for constructive resolution. The key is to keep the focus on the issue at hand, avoiding personal attacks that can escalate the conflict. Additionally, practicing active listening should be a cornerstone of interactions. This means not only hearing what the other person is saying, but also making an effort to understand the underlying message. Often emotions are complex, and what seems like dissatisfaction may be a manifestation of insecurity or fear. By dedicating yourself to listening without judgment, you create a safe environment where both parties can open up. Another valuable practice is validating the other person's feelings. Even if you don't fully understand your partner's perspective, acknowledging that their emotions are valid can help diffuse tension. Phrases like, "I understand this is important to you," can make a significant difference. This validation not only shows that you're listening, but also that you care about how the other person feels. In addition to communicating feelings and needs, it's crucial that both partners are willing to make concessions. Compromise should not be a burden, but a mutual choice that strengthens the bond. When one partner feels heard and respected, they are more likely to be willing to yield on minor issues, creating a positive cycle of collaboration. Spending quality time together is equally essential. It's easy to let daily routines consume emotional connection. Setting aside moments to be together without distractions helps keep intimacy alive. These interactions don't need to be elaborate. Even a simple dinner or a walk in the park can provide an opportunity to reconnect and strengthen the bonds. Another way to cultivate the relationship is through small surprises. Unexpected gestures like a loving message, a note left in a special place, or a meal prepared with care can revitalize the connection. These small acts demonstrate attention and care, reinforcing the idea that both partners are investing in the relationship. Honesty should also be applied when addressing sensitive topics. When dealing with issues that may be uncomfortable, it's important to choose words carefully. Instead of criticizing, express your concerns in a way that does not make the other person feel attacked. Phrases that start with, "I'd like to talk about something that worries me," can open the door to more productive discussions. On the other hand, being flexible is essential. Life is full of changes and unexpected challenges, and a healthy relationship should be able to adapt to these circumstances. This may mean adjusting plans or expectations based on each partner's needs and realities. The willingness to change and commit to the evolution of the relationship is a sign of emotional maturity. Additionally, forgiveness is a skill that should be cultivated. In times of conflict, it's easy to hold on to resentment, but this only harms the connection. Learning to forgive involves letting go of the emotional weight of the past and focusing on the present. This practice allows both partners to concentrate on mutual growth instead of being stuck in old grievances. Commitment to personal growth is another crucial component. Each partner should have the space to develop interests and passions outside of the relationship. This freedom not only enriches each person's life, but also brings new perspectives and experiences to the relationship. When both partners are in a state of constant evolution, the relationship becomes a dynamic and enriching space. Seeking external support, such as couples therapy, can be a valuable tool. A professional can provide insights and strategies that help improve communication and resolve conflicts. There's no shame in seeking help. In fact, it demonstrates a commitment to the relationship and a willingness to work together to overcome challenges. Practicing gratitude should also be an ongoing habit. Recognizing and appreciating your partner's efforts can strengthen the emotional connection. A simple "thank you" can have a profound impact, showing that you value the little things the other person does. This practice helps create a positive environment where both individuals feel valued and recognized. Over time, as the relationship evolves, it's natural for new challenges to arise. The willingness to face these difficulties together is what strengthens the bond. When both partners commit to working on the relationship, it results in a stronger and more rewarding connection, capable of enduring the test of time. Lastly, love should be seen as a partnership, where both individuals are equally invested in each other's well-being. This approach not only strengthens the ties, but also creates a safe space for both to grow as individuals. True love is built on a foundation of understanding, communication, and mutual commitment, and this shared journey is what makes the experience meaningful and valuable. Before you leave, do two things right now. Take a deep breath and hold on to what touched your heart today. And if it makes sense, share this story with someone who also needs to hear it.